today? How's everybody doing this evening? Um, it's just a blessing to be alive today. It's a blessing to just relax because I been just up and doing me today. I had the day off today. So I just been doing me and loving on me, which all of us should be able to have some type of peace. I don't care if I always say I don't care if it's 5 minutes. Give yourself if you can only do 5 minutes, I would say even 10 minutes. If you can step away, if you're at work, step away from work, not even talking about your lunch break, but stepping away from work for like 5 or 10 minutes just to get a woosah and just to have a break just for yourself. But I put in this time because you guys know that I was supposed to go to Washington D.C. this week, but because things didn't happen that way, I decided to have a staycation, and it's okay for you to be able to spend this time with yourself, right? So had a staycation today, and it's been absolutely amazing. Like, I needed this time to myself. I don't go back to work until Monday, and I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I cooked me some homemade fries today. I made a plant-based burger. I've been binge watching movies on Tubi and Netflix and just watching stuff, watching different movies. And this one documentary that me and my daughter just got finished watching. It is insane. And I know this is not what my video is about today, but it's called Unknown Number, the high school catfish. If anybody um, have seen this, if you have not seen it, if you have Netflix, I would say watch this. It is so crazy um, how parents can manipulate their children, right? But anyway, that was absolutely crazy. But yes, today has been about me doing self-care for me, and I've been soaking it up. I've been definitely soaking it up. And I just thank God that He has given me the opportunity to be able to have this time off of work. Like, listen, today, tomorrow, I am pouring into me. And I would tell this for anybody. Listen, take the time out to pour into yourself. Like I said, I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if you have to drive around. If you don't have a car, walk somewhere and just pour into yourself. I went on a walk today, and it felt absolutely amazing. Um, and I just did little things. Like, it wasn't even anything big, but it brought me so much peace today, so much peace, so much clarity, that I definitely needed. I needed this time away from work because, we know sometimes work can be stressful. Home life can sometimes be um, a little crazy, but of course my home life is quiet. My youngest is 24, so it's nothing really going on in my house, really. Um, but yeah, I listen. I'm doing everything this weekend to take care of me. So, hey everyone that's joining in. Hey everyone. Hey everyone. Good morning. I'm not sure where you're calling in from. It's evening here. It's 7 o'clock in the evening where I'm at. But so I'm just sitting in my recliner and I'm just enjoying it. I'm milking, like I said, I'm milking this weekend up. But sometimes we sometimes we don't give ourselves enough grace. I know for me. Hey, hello, that girl. How are you? How are you this evening, girl? I'm just up here relaxing, and I said I was going to come on today. Yesterday, our Bible study started at church, so I'm not doing my lives on Wednesdays anymore. So I'm going to switch it to Thursdays now. But yes, girl, I am off work until Monday, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But oh, my daughter, my daughter just texted me. Well, my oldest daughter, I texted her about 3 hours ago. Ain't that crazy? When you have adult children, you text them and then they text you back. Sometimes I don't get a text back until the next day. My Bible study was really, really, really good yesterday. Um, he was basically so our Bible study yesterday was talking about how we can be in line with God. And um I I don't have my notebook in front of me. How we can be I can't talk. How we can be in line with God. And it was definitely what I needed. But I've been talking about that. You guys know I've been talking about that for so long. I'm doing well. How are you? I've been talking about it for so long because, in order for us to have a good life, we have to be in line with God. We definitely do. There's everything that we get from Him. And I don't care if it's where we live, our jobs, our kids, um, our spouses, being in a relationship, food, whatever. Everything, all those blessings come from Him, right? So we have to stand in line with Him in order for us to have a good relationship. And when I tell you, I fought so hard for me to have peace, because for so long, for so many years, I did not have peace. I did not love myself. Y'all got, the ones who's been on here for a minute, who's been following me, and who follows me on my page and watches my videos, know that I struggled, after my diagnosis. I struggled with loving myself, having peace. And so I fought hard for that. I fought hard for me to be healthy. And um and so I don't take this life lightly at all. At all. And it feels so good to have peace in my life. It feels so good because I fought for this. I fought for respect in my home, um, and for me to have peace. And I refuse to allow anybody to break my peace. And any one of you have to refuse anybody to break your peace. Like, it's definitely um not worth your sanity. Like, I remember when I had COVID in 2020. So I had COVID twice, and I had what you call COVID long hauler sim- symptoms. I can't talk. Symptoms. And there are so many different elements that come with COVID long haulers. There are so many people still dealing with the after effect of them physically. So with me, I was having like brain fog, COVID brain fog. I couldn't remember anything. It was hard for me to concentrate. Um, I developed asthma. I developed COPD. Um, my knees, like, I could not hardly stand on my own. It was a lot that went on after I developed COVID. And so one thing that I did to help with that, and I have a coworker who's dealing with that, and I was telling her, um, one thing I had to eliminate was stress. It was a lot of things going on in my life that was stressing me out, and a lot of that stuff I had to let go. And then, like, my memory, everything is starting to get better. Is it still taking time for some things to progress? Yes, it is. But when I tell you, I came a long way. Like, I could not. you can tell me something 1 minute and I would forget what you're saying. Even at work, like I could not remember what patients was saying, so I had a notebook. I had to write everything down, and then I would have to like enter it in the computer. Like I could not remember things, and that was a problem for me because I never had a problem with my memory until I had COVID. So I know some people who may watch my live later. Like, if you have any problems after you develop COVID, it can be, you could have COVID long hauler symptoms. And you should talk to your doctor about it because they have COVID long haulers programs in clinics that you can go to, and they have services to help people with those problems. And a lot of people don't know that because my coworker who's suffering with it, I don't remember when she had COVID, but she was telling me, and I'm like, I had the same thing. And I had to explain to her that they have COVID long haulers clinics. Um, that you can definitely talk to your doctor about so they can get you a referral to go see a specialist, and they can be able to help you with those problems. Now, this was not even, listen, I'm telling you, this was not even what I was supposed to talk about today. Um, what I'm talking about is faith. And y'all know I love me. Ooh, y'all know I love me some God. I love talking about, ooh, eyelash. I love talking about faith. I love talking about um, what God is doing in my life. And it's not to boast, because you're not supposed to boast about anything, but it's for me to glorify Him. Like, boasting is telling you, like, I'm trying to describe it. Some people, they boast and they flash, they show flashy things. Now, God, He don't want you to be like that. And some people do, but you know, I can only be accountable for me. So I'm just thanking God for everything that He's doing in my life. Um, I was able to finally have some time today and make some videos, and I truly enjoyed that. Um, just really um, talking about my story. Like I said in my video, I'm going to continue to talk about my HIV journey and talk about my story until these numbers start going down. Now, I'm only one person. I can't save the world. I wish I could, but I can't save the world. It's not my job to save the world. That's God's job, but it's my job to be His servant and His disciple, and to spread, His word. And He want me to spread awareness. Like, I was also talking about how, you know, we have to start talking to our teenagers, about being sexually active. I know some parents don't want to talk about it with their kids, or they talk about it, but they only talk about it in not in a deep conversation. So with my girls, I went into a deep conversation about it because I'm living with HIV, and I don't want them to fall into the traps of living with it, right? And like I said, the beginning of this week, people may think I'm crazy, but I am happy that I have HIV because it changed me. I'm not happy that I'm not happy. People might take it a different way. I'm happy that I'm living with it because it changed me, but I'm not happy that I have it. If you understand what I'm saying, I'm happy in my skin that I have it. I think that's how I'm trying to put it. It definitely changed me to be a better person, to um, open my eyes to a lot of things that my eyes was not open to before, because I was oblivious about a lot of things when I was younger. And when you don't have high self-esteem about yourself, the first guy that, and I'm not going to say the first guy because I did have my standards, but you know, certain guys that will tell you you're beautiful and things that you want to hear, um, you fall heavily in love with them. And it was literally only a couple of guys, which was um, my my husband and my daughter father. And so when you're like that, you don't really think about the concept of really using protection all the time, because we did use protection, but with with my oldest daughter father, we did use protection. With my husband, no, I did not, because I felt that I truly knew him. So that's why I did not. And I know, people, it's still people asking me, and I'm like, if you go back and watch my videos, you will um, hear what I've been talking about. Why I did not is people still asking me, well, why didn't you use protection, or why didn't you do this? Um, and it's because I put my all into somebody that I felt safe with. And so, the people that's on here watching, and who's going to, watch my video after, go back and watch my other videos, and you will get all the answers that you need regarding my status, my journey, and how I'm living now. Like, when I tell you, I definitely have so much peace. I never knew life could be so peaceful. And to be honest, I never really grew up with a lot of peace, because when I was younger, we was living with my mom. My mom was on drugs, so it was always a lot of traffic in and out of our home. Um, and my mom, when I tell you, even though my mom was on drugs, my mom was an exceptional mother. I did not understand it, when we were taken away from my mom when I was um I was in elementary school. I was in 5th grade. So you are right. You are right. But I still get that question. Why didn't you use protection? But listen, just like you remember I told you before, the same people that is ridiculing me and trying to make me feel bad, which I definitely don't feel bad about the choice that I made, um, with sleeping with somebody that I truly love, and I truly put my all and my heart into, which I don't feel bad, and nobody can ever make me feel bad about my life, about my HIV status. Um, and no one can ever make me feel bad about that. But what I do want to say is, a lot of those people are definitely some of the people who don't use protection all the time, um, who may have never used protection in a relationship before. Um, and so, I don't listen to those comments, because one thing I'm not going to do is allow people to judge me. I would never allow people to judge me. Give me one second. Let me get this out the oven. Girls, you didn't eat your food. You don't eat your food, Bella. You don't eat your food. come. Okay, I'm back. So yeah. So I've read who were promiscuous and never used protection. Yeah, you know what? That's crazy. That's crazy that you were giving them the heads up and um, you know, the thing is, I always say it's nothing but the grace of God for people who's promiscuous who who has not contracted anything. Is nobody but the grace of God. That's why I'm always, you know, on here and talking about it, because not just HIV, but there's different STIs. There's, like I said, so many STIs: chlamydia, herpes, um, gonorrhea, syphilis. It's so many different STIs that that's out here. Trichomonas. It's so many things that can prevent you from even conceiving a child. So if you don't get it treated. So and I'm always, that's why I'm always talking about it, because I just want people out here to be safe. I want these numbers to go down, and I just really thank God for this platform and him allowing me to be able to, you know, talk about it. Um, because like I said, I didn't want this job. I literally didn't. But I have to obey God. I have to obey everything that he's telling me to do. And in this season, that's what I'm doing. And I just been getting blessed left and right. Like I said, I wasn't supposed to I can talk about so many blessings that I had this year, just from um just from February of this year up until now. Like, I have my own apartment now. You guys know that I was homeless for, a few months, and God blessed me with my own apartment. Um then my car situation, I don't have a car, but God is going to bless me with that soon. So I'm going to continue, you know, to believe and trust him. I already prayed about it. So I left that alone because I know that my blessing is coming soon. I don't worry about it. I don't stress about it or anything like that. Um, so I don't do that, because one thing I learned is, don't stress about something you cannot change. If it's something that you cannot change in that minute, that moment, don't stress about it, because it won't change. You have to pray about it, allow God to work it out, and leave it there. And know that you're doing everything you can on your end to make sure that things happen. Now, not saying you pray about something, for instance, like a job, and you just keep saying, God, oh, I pray for this job and I pray for that job, and you don't apply for it. No, I'm not saying anything like that. But for instance, you working, like I'm working towards getting a new vehicle. So I go to work every day. I'm working on saving money. Um, I'm working on my content, and I know that it's going to come. And my birthday is literally next month. I prayed and I asked God, I said, God, please let me get a car by my birthday. Now, it's in his timing. So I'm still believing him, still believing God that I would definitely have a car by my birthday. Now, my birthday is October 23rd. So it's not that far away, not that far away at all. And I always say God's willing, because we don't know the day, the time, or the hour that He's going to call us home. So God's willing that I will be able to see my 49th birthday. I still can't believe like I'm about to be 49 years old. I'm like, where did the time go? And I'm just starting to live for, listen, for 25 years. I did not live at all. 25 years. I didn't live. I was depressed. I basically stayed in a shell in my bubble. I was in mental jail, mental prison. I locked myself in prison. Yes, it is so exciting. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And the reason why I'm so excited for this birthday is because, like I said, for 25 years, I did not enjoy not one birthday. I did not enjoy my life. I didn't enjoy anything that I did. But guess what? I started to have faith. I started to believe in myself. I God gave me the strength to start over. So this is a new life for me. This year, this is a whole new life for me, and I am so excited to begin this journey, to begin this life. Um, and I can't do nothing but thank God. And I just keep saying it over and over and over again. If nobody has ever been in a situation to where you had life-threatening things happen to you, you would not understand the magnitude of happiness that I have, the magnitude of um, gratefulness that I have for just living. And so I just thank God that I am able to live, that I'm able to see the blessings that He gives me every day. Yeah, there are antiretrovirals that we take. Yep, people living with HIV. So now there are injections, and um there one pill that there's pills that you could take once a day. But because so there are some people, and I'm one of them, so there are some people who have allergic reactions to certain medications. Like me, I have an allergic reaction to it's called Zyogen, and also um what's the other one that I was on? Man, it's been so long. It's been so long ago, but uh Atripla is another one. So it was the Atripla, I believe, that I was on. I believe that's the one that caused me to almost die when I started that medication. And I was telling you guys how I went to this one hospital, and they was basically gonna let me die. I was literally laying on a gurney, like vomiting so much. I had no energy. I couldn't even move, and I was crying for help. And it was nurses that was arguing back and forth who was going to take care of me and who was not going to take care of me. The doctor, when they found out that I was positive, the doctor didn't even come in here to check me out. They didn't draw my blood. They didn't do any of that. So my girls were young then, and my husband, he ended up um, coming to the back because I was screaming and I was yelling, telling them to get him. I couldn't even get off the bed. Yeah, I couldn't even get off the bed. I couldn't even get off that gurney. So, um, he came back there and he was pissed. So he ended up taking me to another hospital that took exceptional care of me. When I tell you, they told me that I got there just in time, um, because I was going to lose my life. That medication literally almost killed me, and that my death would have been on their hands, literally, because they would not take care of me. And that was definitely scary. That was definitely scary. But yeah, so because that medication that I'm allergic to, that was it was years ago. That was, I think it probably had to be like 2005. So it's probably like 20 years ago, 2005 when that happened. And so um because I'm allergic to that medication, I'm not a candidate to get the injections, or I'm not a candidate to get on the one pill. So I take 3 pills once a day. So I take my medication at night before I go to bed because that's when I know that I'm going to remember it. I was trying to do it during the day, but it just did not work. It literally did not work for me because I was missing doses and things like that. Um, but yeah, I um, so I was a little bummed when my infectious disease doctor told me that I wasn't able to, get on the one pill once a day, but I'm okay. It's 3 pills. I take it once a day, once at night, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm healthy. Sometime now with the antiretrovirals, sometimes you do have like some side effects. Like last week, that's why I have this. You can see I have this bruise on my arm right here. Last week, I went to the ER because I was just so sick. I was so nauseous. I couldn't keep anything down. For 4 days, I couldn't keep anything down. So they had to give me IV fluid. So um, this week, it's a little better. I'm able to, eat now. Do I still get a little nauseous? But like I said, some of the medications, it does, make you nauseous. Some people have like different side effects with um, their medications, but I'm not changing it because it's working for me. I'm undetectable. It's working for me. So I'm going to continue to stay on this medication. But yeah, I'm telling you, God has been so faithful. And one Bible verse that I always like to go to, that always helps me, is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all of your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your path straight." And God is so, you have to trust in Him. That's why I trust this entire process. I, 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 I trust because I know that um, I definitely know that I am going to be healed, whether it's on this side of the earth or in heaven. I know that I'm going to be ill. I say ill, healed. Um, Another one that I definitely love. Another one that I always like to refer to is Romans 10:17. And I know a lot of people know this one too. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. And so I always like to go to to a lot of those verses and remind myself that we serve an amazing God. We definitely serve an amazing God, and it's nobody but Him that 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 keeps us, that direct us, and order our steps. Nobody but Him. Nobody but Him. And you know what? And somebody just put in Revelations 21:4 and 5. And I'm going to read it. It says, He will wipe every tear from your eyes. There will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain, for the old order or things has passed away. He who was seated on the throne said, I am making everything new. Then he said, Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true. And that's absolutely right. Listen, that's why I'm always talking about we have to get our lives right and we have to be aligned with God, because this life here is only temporary. We was not meant to be on this earth forever. So we have to get it right so we can be in heaven. Who wants to live in hell? God showed me, I experienced heaven and hell. And when I tell you, like in another video, if you go to my video and see my video, I talk about how heaven even looks. Like, when I tell you, I wish my mom was sitting here. I cannot make this stuff up. I wish my mom was sitting here and she could, you know, tell you how she was. I gotta turn this light on. Because it's getting kind of dark. Um, how she was when I was literally calling out for her name, and I felt myself fading away, and I saw my spirit looking at my body laying on the couch. And this big bright light, like, I cannot make this stuff up. And when I tell you, it's amazing knowing that heaven is such a beautiful and peaceful place. And then it's scary to see what hell looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like. And I wish that all of us could go to heaven, but we know that everybody's not going to go to heaven. And that's why I work so hard daily to deny my flesh, and to repent, because heaven is where I'm going. When I leave this earth, when I leave this earth, I want y'all to know that that's where I will be. Definitely. Some people don't like to talk about it. Some people don't like to talk about death. They don't like to talk about heaven, hell, but these things have to be talked about. I remember when I was young, I used to be afraid to talk about it. I was afraid. And now I'm like, why was I afraid all this time? Why? I don't understand. I don't understand. And some other verses, Psalms 56:3 and 4. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you, in God, whose word I praise, in God I trust, and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? Yes, it definitely would be 100 times better than we could ever imagine. Like, I just saw a glimpse, but it's definitely better than we could ever imagine. God has a place for us, a beautiful place for us, right? Definitely. And so, that's why we have to get ourselves right. We're not saying that we're gonna, go today, go tomorrow. But like I said, we don't know. God has it written in His book. He know the day, the time, and the hour that each and every one of us gonna leave. We don't know when we're gonna leave. And do we want to leave our loved ones behind? No. My thing is, if when I tell you that I'm okay with it now, if God tell me to go with Him today, I will be okay with going with Him today. Guess what? Because I know that it will be better than here, right? Now, do I love my life now? Of course I love my life. But if God is telling me it's time for me to go with Him, who wouldn't want to be in eternal life with Him? But I pray, and I've prayed. I asked God, I want to be here until the rapture comes. I do, because I want to go up with Him. Some people be like, you want to be here till the rapture comes? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I do too. I'm always telling myself positive affirmations to um, get me through the day. Get me through the day. Um, and some of the positive affirmations that I tell myself, and I'm looking in my notes that I wrote to myself. I am a child of God, which comes from John 1:12. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I tell myself that every single day, and we have to start telling ourselves that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that comes from Psalms 139:14. I am chosen and dearly loved, Colossians 3:12. I am God's masterpiece created with purpose, Ephesians 2:10. Listen, these are some of the things that I tell myself because I know that God put me here on purpose. God put each and every one of us here on purpose. I mean, yeah, on purpose. None of us were put on this earth by mistake. None of us was ever put on this earth by mistake. If you have touched this earth, it was because God wanted you to be here. So each and every one of us have a purpose. Regardless if you know or you don't know what your purpose is, each and every one of us have a purpose. And just like I was at work on yesterday, and I meant to do a video, and I'm going to do a video on it. But when you go downstairs before you go to the cafeteria, it's a whole lot of portraits, right? Of paintings, different people painting. And these paintings are so beautiful. And you can buy these paintings, and it has like who the the artist and their names, the price and things like that on how much they charge for each painting. If you look at the paintings, each and every painting is different. All of them have different colors, different patterns. Some are big, some are small. And as I was walking down, God literally started talking to me. And that's why I serve Him the way that I do, because I just love hearing from Him. And He started talking to me. And He was telling me, this is how all of you are. And I'm walking, I'm like, this is how all of us are. And I'm walking, and and so I stopped in front of a painting, and I hear His voice, look at this painting, and then look at this painting. So I'm looking at the paintings next to each other, and I'm looking, I'm like, they're different. I go past all the time. If some of you see my videos that I've posted, you see me walking past, the paintings down stairs going to the cafeteria. Um, but even though I look at the paintings, I did not look at the paintings the way that He was showing me. And that's how our life is. Each and every one of us are made up differently. Each and every one of us have our own purpose. We have our own walk. We have our own journey. There are, it's been so many times that people have wanted me to do the things that they wanted me to do, or start things when they wanted me to start things, or, you know, but I had to realize that my journey is my journey. Your journey is your journey. Even though we are all on different paths, one journey that um, we should be heading to go to is to be with Him. But He have all of us on different journeys while we're here on earth. And our journey, each and every day we wake up, is to bless other people. Like I say all the time, regardless if it's a good gesture, positive affirmations, um, even if it could be, um, monetary, if you can help someone financially, give somebody a ride that you may know, invite somebody to church, talk to somebody about God. It's so many different things that we can do in people's lives to help change their life. Like my coworker today, she and I'm off today, and we was talking, and she we were texting back and forth, and she asked me, she called me and she was like, "Do you have a minute?" And we talked for a minute, and then this is what she sent me back. She said, "Thanks so much for talking to me about all of that. You're such a blessing. I have to speak to myself. No weapon formed against me shall prosper." And I was so blessed to get that message from her, and it's nobody but God that's working in me, that I'm able to speak and help other people. And so you know I just have to continue to do His will, continue to do His will, um and continue to watch Him show out and show up and show out in my life, because I have prayed for so many things to happen in my life. Like, I prayed for an apartment. um I have my apartment. I'm praying for a home, a house. I really want a house. um I'm not used to living in an apartment, you know even though it's quiet. Like, my apartment is quiet, but sometimes when people have company, um it can be a bit loud, and I'm not used to all of that. I'm just used to having my peace. Um and of course, there are some people that do illicit drugs, and you can smell it sometimes. um those are the only things that I can not even complain about, but you know not being okay with. And then I miss having my own washer and dryer in my home. I have to, go downstairs and go to the laundry and wash, which I am still blessed that, we have a washer and dryer here that we can use. So I'm very, very grateful with what God has blessed me with. But I'm gonna be so, so, so happy when I finally get my own home, um, a new car, because it's hard when you don't have a vehicle and you really can't go anywhere, right? But I don't complain, because um, I get back and forth to work. I go to my doctor's appointments when I have to. I pick my youngest daughter up from work. And yeah, the only thing, I really miss is spending a quality time with my family, who, lives um, a little ways from me, who still lives in Michigan but live a little ways from me, because I told you guys I'm from Detroit. All of my family is still in Detroit, so I do miss going to Detroit and being with my family, and even spending time with my nephew, who just started fourth grade. So I want to really spend that time with him while he's young. But like I said, I'm believing, I'm trusting God that that is on the way. I'm being patient. And that's one thing we have to learn too. We have to learn patience. Um, and it took me a long time Oh, you're from Manchester. Okay. Okay, so you're not, yeah, that is cool. I have another Michigander um here on my live. I love it. I definitely love it. Um Michigan is a good place. Michigan is definitely a good place. The only thing I do not care for is the winters. Not at all. Yes, 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 definitely. I hurt you too. If I can do it. How do you do that? Make a heart. Make a heart. I think that's how you make it. Oh, you too. I have never visited Mackinac Island. I listen, the only let me see the furthest place I've been in Michigan. Um oh, you're from Coldwater. Okay, another Michigander. Yay, that's exciting. That's so exciting. Um the furthest place I think I've been is probably I think I've been to Grand Rapids once. Grand Rapids once, yeah. But that's the furthest. Yeah, I definitely, I don't know because Mackinac Island, you have to go over that Mackinac Bridge, right? And I think the Mackinac Bridge, it kind of shakes or moves or something. I don't know about that. Oh no, okay, that's not it. What bridge is that? That's I don't know. Is the Mackinac Bridge really long? Is that what I'm thinking about? Oh, MG. See, now you got. You said you could take a ferry. Listen, guys, I do not like large bodies of water. I've never been on a cruise. Everybody keeps saying you need to go on a cruise. You can't tell that you're, on the boat. I don't know. I've never been on a cruise. I freaked out. I went on the Babalote boat one time when I was really, really young, and a ferry when the Babalo boat was no more. They had a ferry that went over the Babalo, and I got on that, and I almost freaked out. I went on Tommy Hearns. If anybody know Tommy Hearns, the boxer, um, Tommy Hearns, that was my grandmother's godson, and so we went on his boat when we were really, really young. Oh, you did? Yes. Port Huron. No, Port Huron. Have I? No, I've been in Michigan all my life. Oh, I know what you meant, Babalo. Yep. Um, I've been in Michigan all my life, and I have not been all over Michigan. I literally have not. Michigan is really large, though. Um, I have not. I definitely, I definitely love one place I do love going to is um Great Lakes. Great Lakes crossing the mall. Now, it don't have as much as it used to have in there when they first opened, but I still love it because it still have a lot of stores. A lot of places I want to go that I have not been to is the outlet. I've never been to Frankenmuth. I've never been to any of those places. But I definitely it's a lot of things on my list that I'm going to be doing. Like I told you guys, I am finally living. I have not lived for 25 years. Frankenmuth. Yeah, I do want to go, and I'm really going to try to go during the holiday season. They say that it's beautiful. They say that it's absolutely, absolutely beautiful. So I do want to try to get up there for the holiday season just to, get the experience. And Saint Sue Marie, I hate, Salt Saint, is it called Salt Saint Marie or Saint Sue Marie? No, I've never been there. Man, you guys name, really? See, now I don't even have my note. Oh, I got my notes right here. I am about to put this in my notes because you said it's called Zenderman's. I'm putting this Zenders. Zenders. Sault Ste. Marie. Yes, Sault Ste. Marie. Yes, I heard of that. I've never been there either. Um, I've only I've never really been. It's the best. What? Dang. Okay, so now I I have to go to a lot of places. So it's a lot of places here in Michigan that you can go and just enjoy yourself. If you don't have the money to really travel out of state. What? Bronner's? Okay, I'm putting this in here too. Where is Bronner's located? I'm gonna have to look that up. Bronner's. So it's a lot of things that we can do here in Michigan that, oh, Frankenmuth. Okay. Okay. So I'm putting that in here too. Largest Christmas. Frankenmuth. Okay. Now, when I go to these places, I'm definitely going to be doing um, some lives and some videos. I've never even heard. Where's that at? Now, what is that place? Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes. Where's that at? And what is it? Sleeping Bear Sand. Okay. No, it's so many places. It's in Mears, Michigan. I never even heard of that place, Mears, Michigan. Man, wow. So I'm excited to take some trips in Michigan. I'm so excited. Listen, even if I have to get on a train, y'all know I don't have a car right now. Even if I have to get on a train to do some things, I'm definitely gonna do it. And Frankenmuth, I heard. Now, can't you rent like is it like cabins or something that you can stay at Frankenmuth? You don't have to. Is there some you can stay there, or is it just a 1 day trip? Because I heard of Frankenmuth, but I never really looked into it. So yeah, I'm definitely going to when I get off my live, I am going to look these places up, and I'm definitely going to start scheduling trips just to go. I don't care if, like I said, I don't care if I have to get on a train or a bus to go, the Greyhound somewhere. It's gonna take me someplace. I know the train, take you a lot of places. I don't know about the Greyhound, but I've been on a train to Chicago before, and it was so nice. At America's Best Inn. Oh, let me write that down. Is it really nice? America's Best Inn in Bertrand. Is that really nice? America's Best Inn Nordstrom. Okay. It's cheaper than most. Okay. I love me some deals. Listen, I love me some deals. As long as it's nice and it don't. Okay, that's not bad. About $100 a night. That's not bad at all. That's definitely not bad. That is not bad at all. I am so excited, y'all. Listen, I am so excited. This, I'm like a kid in a candy store right now because I did not know that it was so many good places in Michigan because I had myself, you know, I just didn't think that it was a lot of things to do in Michigan because I've never really done anything or looked anything up. There are so many, places, people go outside of Michigan and go on trips. Like I do want to get outside of Michigan and go on trips too. Like I lived in Maryland for a minute, Severn, Maryland, when my girls were young in middle school and high school by the army base. I lived there for a minute and then it was expensive, but even where I'm at is expensive. Um, I wish I would have gave it, more of a chance living in Maryland, but I don't regret coming back. The only reason why I don't regret coming back is because I was able to still spend time with my mother and my grandmother before they passed. Not knowing that they would pass, but that time definitely meant a lot to me. So, you know, I had my mom for how old was my mom when she passed? I had my mom passed when I was 42. So I had my mom for 42 years, but it still don't think, I mean, I still feel like that was not long enough. It still feel like it was too short um, of a time. Even with my grandmother, like I said, my mom had me when she was 16. So my grandmother, my grandparents, my dad parents, and my mom parents helped raise me. So um, even with my grandmother, I had her, for the same amount of time, and it just felt like it was too short. Even my dad, mom, and dad, and my grandfather, my grandparents. But I'm just glad that I was able to spend that time with them, before they left this earth. And now, you know, I tell myself now, I don't mind moving out of state because they're not here, so I can live my life and not feel like I am leaving them behind, if you get what I'm saying. Does it feel like she's still here sometimes? Yes, it does. It definitely does feel like she's still here. Just like the other day, it was nice outside and I was at work. And I literally told myself I was like, oh, I'm about to call my mama. And I said, oh, dang. And it will be 5 years in November that my mom has been gone. And, for some people that don't know that, just coming on here, my mom passed away from COVID in 2020, the end of November of 2020. So it'll be 5 years this year. Yep, still do that. Even with my grandmother, I still have their numbers in my phone. I still not have not erased their numbers out of my phone. And I don't think I ever will. I don't know. It just feel like, a part of me um, is still attached. I'm going to show you. I got this picture right here, me and my mom. This right here, uh, this is, if you can see it, can y'all see it? So this was my mom, and this was, that was my last picture with her. That was Mother's Day. So that was our last Mother's Day together. And I have this picture put on my entertainment center, um, because this was our last picture. And the flowers, my daughter, my oldest daughter, had got all of us flowers. Me, my mom, my grandmother, um, had got all of us flowers. And of course, I still had my mask on because, you know, we had company, and I still was not comfortable, um, because it was still new. This was May of 2020 when we took this picture. So it was, COVID was still new, and I was not taking my mask off for anybody because I had just got out of, thank you so much. I had just got out of in March, out of ICU, almost passing away from COVID twice. I had it in March and I had it in October. Um, and so I'm so happy now that I am about to start working from home. So I get my equipment on next week, Friday. So I'll be working from home that following Monday. So I am so happy. And it's a long time coming. That's why I was saying, like, we have to continue to have patience and continue to keep the faith and know that God is working on our behalf. Because when I switched to this position, um, I was sick. I was having some health issues. You guys know I talked about, like, my blood pressure. I could not get it under control. It was in the 200s. It was really, really high. 200s over like 120, 130. That's how high my blood pressure was. Um, I was also having issues with asthma. I was having asthma attacks, having migraines. I've had 3 migraine strokes. And so, and by the grace of God, you cannot tell um, that I had these things going on, because it's nobody but God that has kept me, right? So, um, so I was in and out the hospital. Oh, wow, respiratory therapist. That's amazing. Listen, since I changed my diet, I have not had to be on my nebulizer or my asthma medication. And I believe like it was some of the foods that was probably um causing my asthma to flare up, because I was not eating right. I really was not eating right. And so I completely changed my diet. And if you guys see like my shorts and my videos, you would see me um juicing, eating salads. Um, Now I'm plant based. I still eat, some dairy. Like today, I had my, I haven't had, sweets like that in a minute. But I had my dairy, like I'm this, yes, that is definitely cool. I had this ice cream. It's like a gelato. It's called Talente. If y'all know the ice cream I'm talking about, it is so good. When I tell y'all, that's the best ice cream in the world. Hands down, hands down. Y'all have to try it. It's a little more expensive. I think it's like $6.99. But when I tell y'all to try it, you will not be disappointed at all. Now since you're a respiratory therapist, so um, there's the ventilator. My mom was on a ventilator before she passed. Um, and then there's the BiPAP machine. So that's what I was on. I was minutes from being intubated. So the BiPAP machine and the ventilator, it's like this huge machine they had me on. And it was so many it was respiratory therapists. It was so many doctors in there working on me. I was in ICU. Um, and it was almost like the ventilator, but it was the machine. It was like this mask that they put on your face, and all the oxygen like goes into your lungs. I can't describe it, but it felt so good. And that's what kept me alive. along with um, just God. The doctors did not think that I was going to turn around. And I had double pneumonia on top of that. The doctors did not think that I was going to turn around. The doctors, before I went into ICU when all of my vitals and stuff was dropping. No, it was the total opposite. I did not feel like I was suffocating. When I tell you that it felt so good because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe on my own. And I could not breathe on my own. And when they told me that they were going to um, wean me off of that BiPAP machine, I started crying because I didn't want to get off of it because I was afraid because my oxygen had dropped down to 74 before they rushed me to ICU. And I was like, I was on the COVID floor. I was in a regular room, and they had to rush me down to the other end of, because the COVID floor, they had one side of the COVID patients, and then they had the other wing that was the ICU wing. And so, oh, you wear a CPAP? Yep, I have a CPAP now. But I didn't need any of that until I developed COVID. I did, like I was telling you guys, like COVID hauler symptoms are real. I developed asthma and COPD after I um, after I had COVID. But yeah, that BiPAP machine, OMG. And then they had me on oxygen, and when I tell you, yes, yep, I definitely have a lot of lung scarring. Yep. But I'm praying for healing for that too. Because what they told me when I had my chest x-ray, and when I had the chest x-ray, they told me that like the top of my lungs, like I can breathe perfectly fine. But when it comes to the bottom of my lungs, they said that my lungs is flappy or something, and it's not expanding like it should. So it's harder for me to take in a deep breath. Like even to this day, I can't really breathe out of my nose after I had COVID. It's so hard for me to breathe out of my nose. I always have to breathe out of my mouth, but then I have to remember and tell myself that, Tamisha, you have to breathe out of your nose. So, but when I do that, like I have to take in a huge deep breath from in order for me to be able to breathe like I'm supposed to. And that's the only thing that I struggle with. My 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 taste has definitely came back. The smell, like sometimes I get these off smells and I don't know where they come from. But it's still hard. It still feels like my nose is clogged after I had COVID. And it just never went back to normal. I don't know. It has never went back to normal. And like the COVID long hauler doctor said, was saying like sometimes some people it would never go back to normal for some people, that some people may have to live with things for the rest of their life after COVID, unfortunately. But like I said, I'm declaring and I have faith, and I know that everything is going to be completely healed on my body. Um, do I have some things that I go through every day? Yes, I do, but I don't let it defeat me. Like I said the other day, I went to the ER. I still got this bruise on my arm because they was trying to put an IV in. It's definitely getting better because I was so dehydrated. And I was literally so sick. I couldn't keep anything down. But I don't let it keep me down. I really work on me having a better outcome about things and not letting um, health issues take over me. I work on hitting it face to face and allowing me to take over it. I'm not going to allow nothing to try to take over me, because as soon as you allow things to take over, then it's a hard time. You have a harder time grasping um, to become a little more, to get on the mends of being healthy. So just like for me with my weight loss, I haven't lost any more yet because, well, I I had lost 35 pounds now. So 35 pounds. At first it was 30 pounds. 35 pounds now because I wasn't really eating. Um, and now I started back eating again, but 35 pounds I've lost. And I was a lot. You guys, I was a lot bigger than this. I have to show you. I have to find some pictures. I'm gonna post some pictures and show you guys. Um, but I was a lot bigger than this, and it was because I stopped taking care of myself. I told you guys that I wasn't living. So I stopped taking care of myself. I was eating everything in sight, everything that was not healthy for you, everything that was not good for you, but it tastes good to me, and I was definitely happy with it. Um, it made my soul feel good. Have you guys ever ate something that literally make your soul feel good? Like, it's and I know we've all been there, because all of us have eaten some type of food that's so good, and but it's not good for you. So that was me. All types of cookies and candy and fried food and chips. I mean, and when I tell you, it wasn't just, you know, sometime, every single day, all day. From the time that I woke up in the morning, I had so much junk food in my body, in my system, to where I became pre-diabetic. And now I'm not pre-diabetic anymore. My blood pressure is under control, and it's because of me truly loving myself. Oh, you sugar free holic. That is good. That is good. But I truly, truly, truly love myself. And I love the woman that I'm becoming. I'm loving the life that I'm living now. And I just want to, now it's time for me to start exploring. Start exploring Michigan and just going on trips and just enjoying myself. So I'm just so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for my life. And I know I just keep saying it. You guys just don't know, from almost losing your life, like not just once, just not twice, not three times, but um a few times. Almost losing my life a few times. Even with having double pneumonia, I've had meningitis, um, where they didn't think I was gonna make it. So it's been so many things that has come against me, but yet I'm still, I'm still sitting here. I'm still smiling, and I'm still grateful for everything that God is doing in my life. I'm literally grateful. Like, all of that stuff, I'm like, if I can get through all of that, and that was hard, recovering from all of that was hard. If I can get through all of that, I can get through anything. And that's just how I have to talk to myself and tell myself, when things try to come up against me, I'm like, mm-mm. I have a God that's fighting my battles. That's what I keep. I'm always, when stuff come against me, nope. I got a God that's fighting my battles. Nope. I have to keep reminding myself that. I have to keep reminding myself that, and staying in my word, constantly staying in my word, and doing everything that he's telling me to do. And I know for you as a respiratory therapist, you see life and death all the time, in your job. So I know that You probably want, I know for me, seeing life and death, um, I wonder how people can take life for granted when it's people that wanted to live and was fighting for their life and it just couldn't no more. And that's why I don't take life for granted anymore. I don't think I ever really I took certain things for granted. Um, definitely. Like a lot of us have. We're all human. All of us were born into sin. So all of us on this earth have taken something for granted. I don't care if it's a little thing, but we have to learn that we can't take things for granted, because as soon as it's something that we really need is taken away, it's like, man, I wish I would have never, did that, or I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have did that. You know what? Me too. I know it was hard on you guys. OMG. I know it was hard on you guys. Because I'm gonna let me see if I have um so my mom, just like me, and it's crazy, my mom had COVID twice. The first time, my mom was also in ICU, and she was on a ventilator and she was in induced coma. This was in January of 2020. Now, this is before they declared COVID a pandemic. They didn't declare it until March, and that's when I contracted it. I contracted it a couple of days before they came out and said it was a pandemic. I was already in the hospital. And so, um, my mom, she pulled through in January, and the doctors didn't think that she was going to make it. They wanted to take her off of the ventilator, and we were like, no, we're going to give her, let's give her at least another day. And that night, in the middle of the night, things turned around. Things literally turned around, and my mom um, woke up, and they weaned her off of the ventilator, and she pulled through. So in November, when she developed it again, they thought that um, she was going to, we thought that she was going to pull through, but she didn't. I'm trying to find um, a picture of me and my mom. When I tell you my mom, y'all, my mom was always by my side. Now, is this is one of the pictures I'm going to post, but this is a picture right here of me and my mom. This is when um, I had got out of ICU and I was cleared from COVID. So my mom was up there at the hospital with me. They had took me off of the BiPAP machine and put that other oxygen thing around me. I told God that he had to let up because I had thought about quitting my. Listen, I I cannot imagine. I commend you. No, I was at St. Joe Hospital in Ypsilanti, and when I tell you they took good care of me and my mom, they took good care of us. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. You work for St. Joe? Oh wow, that is so crazy. That is so crazy. Yep. Do you work at the one in Ypsilanti? That's the one that that's the one that I was at. The one in Ypsilanti. But yeah. Oh wow. So you probably, that is so crazy. Because in 2020, were you working there when COVID hit in 2020? Because in 2020, um, oh, okay. Yeah, in 2020, man. Let me tell you guys. So when I tell you my mom, when every time I was in the hospital, Oh, you was at St. Joe in Chelsea. Okay. Now, when I was going through, um, I told you guys that I didn't live for like um 25 years, right? So I was going through depression, anxiety, almost tried to unalive myself. So I was in and out of the mental hospital as well. So I was at Chelsea Hospital. They had a um uh partial inpatient um psychiatric program. It was absolutely good. I definitely, it definitely helped me. um it definitely helped me. But I'm telling you, it was nobody but the grace of God that pulled my mom through the first time. And I was trying to find, like, I can't find it. I think it might be, it's somewhere in here in my pictures, when my mom, she was on a ventilator the first time, um, and she pulled through. But like I said, the second time, when you said you probably, so you know what? Probably, because that was, let me see, that was in, what was that? Probably 2009 or 2010 when I was there. Um, I do not. I was in and out. When I tell you, oh, I do not. I know they had to do, like, when I was like in ICU, they had to do the blood gas. One thing that hurted, and even though they numbed me up, um, they had to put the line in my groin area to control my blood pressure, because my blood pressure was dropping, my organs was starting to drop. Fail. My blood pressure was dropping, my organs was starting to fail, and I'm telling you guys, it was nobody but the grace of God. I thank Him each and every day, and I can talk about it, and um, yes, it does, because they have to go. Um, they have to go in the artery, I think, right? I think they have to go in the artery or something. I don't, when I tell you they was doing so much, because when I was in the regular room, um, the nurse was talking to me, and all of a sudden, like, I could not breathe. She immediately called for the doctor. The doctor came in, they saw my vitals, they called the RTs. They had, so at St. Joe, you have your own room. So they had all the chair and everything. When I tell you they pushed all that stuff out of the room so fast in the hallway, it was RTs. It was so many people coming to work on me. It was crazy. I did not know what was going on. All I know is that I couldn't breathe, and it felt like my life was just, it felt like I was almost lifeless. And they rushed me straight down to ICU. As they had to get me a little stable, though, to get me down to ICU. And that's when they, um, yes, they definitely helped me. They definitely helped me. Um, and they were on it. When I tell you they were on it, they did not miss a beat. They didn't miss a beat at all. At all. And like I said, not only did I have COVID, I had COPD, asthma, HIV, and double pneumonia. I had all of that at one time. All of that at one time. You are right. You are absolutely right. There's nobody, I'm telling you. I'm telling you. That's why I don't take this stuff. I do not take my life lightly. I don't take the things that he want me to do lightly at all. I really don't. Um, this life here with me having HIV, this life has opened up so much to me that I didn't even, um, that I didn't even see. And I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't think I would have ever loved myself the way that I love myself now, because even before I um, contracted HIV, um, I guess I suffered with depression and didn't know because, I never wanted to be noticed. I did not love myself. I didn't like the way that I looked. But then in the midst of me contracting it, and now that I'm loving myself and I'm living life, and I can see myself the way that God sees me. But I don't think that would have ever happened if I did not contract this virus. I really don't, because I that's how I was walking through life. But now you can't tell me anything about me not loving myself. Every inch of me, my natural hair, my complexion, my lips, my eyes, my body, my everything, everything. Oh, really? Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Like, even with my mom, listen, and I'm gonna tell you, it was a nurse during COVID. And we did not know this until the day that my mom passed. So you can't go up to the hospital when somebody has COVID. So the day that my mom um had passed, the doctor had, oh, really? I know that was hard to, ooh. And thank God that you are here. And thank you, Jesus, that you're here. But when we went, the doctor let us go see my mom. They had to, like, we had to be draped and gown. We had to wear two gowns, two pairs of gloves. We had to wear um a fitted mask along with a shield, that plastic shield that goes on. And I still have like the shield and the mask that I wore. I kept that. It's just a reminder of my mom, I guess. I don't know. But I kept that. And you said never had another outbreak after the original outbreak. Wow. Mm. I'll use something called a. Now, what's that? Pepper? What's that? But but yeah, so when when we went to go see my mom, the nurse that was in there taking care of my mother, and there had to be a nurse in there the whole time because my mom, that's the only way that they were able to keep her blood pressure up. It was a machine, and they could not stay away from that. So there was a nurse in there at the whole time, having to stand at that machine and watch her monitor. So this was all around the clock. So when we got there, the nurse told us, she said, yeah, um, I lost my mom to COVID less than a few weeks ago. And oh, when I tell you, I bust out in tears, because for you to be so selfless, to come back to work and take care of patients who are living, who's here with COVID, people passing away. I mean, minute after minute, hour after hour, and you came back to work after your mother passed away, and you're in the room taking care of my mother who is passing away. And all I could do is, just even thinking about it, bringing tears to my eyes, because we have so many selfless people just like you, like God. um Oh, yes. But the doctor that told me, he had on that same thing. It looked like you're an astronaut, and you have this, it's like this machine that's on your back, and it's I know exactly I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, because the doctor that came in, I asked him if I was gonna die. He said, let's just say it's gonna get worse before it get better. And he walked out the room. I never had no, that's it. That's all he said. And they rushed me to ICU. That's it. That is it. So yeah, but I'm telling you, OMG, it is definitely been a blessing, like speaking to you ladies, like, and like I say, I don't take what God is having me do lightly, talking about my testimony, about my life, because our testimony is a test that somebody else is dealing with, right? So I always say that my testimony is definitely going to help somebody else, um, regardless of what it is. And I just thank God that He chose me to do it. I thank God that I'm here and that I'm able to talk about, my life and what I've been through, and telling people, never allow things to defeat you. Romans 8:28. Romans 8:28. Let me pull that up. As y'all know, I love my word. Romans 8:28. And it reads, and we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. Amen. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation. Amen. Amen. I'm going to read that again. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them. Listen, that's a word for tonight. We're going to leave it right there. That's a word for tonight. God causes everything to work for the good. He causes everything, 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 everything. Listen, and like I say, God never promised that life will be peaches and cream. He never promised that. We were never put on this earth thinking that every single day is going to be perfect, that we're not going to go through something. Each and every one of us go through something. It's how you decide to navigate through it, right? Some things are very detrimental, and some things, it's very hard to navigate. I'm telling you, I've been there. I tried to unalive myself so many times. That's why I was in a psych ward, in and out the psych ward so many times. But guess what? I'm not on depression medicine anymore. I'm not on anxiety medicine anymore. By the grace of God, I have been healed and delivered from that because I allowed Him to take control of my life and not me taking control of my life. Now, do I live in the flesh, and sometimes I want to do things on my own, and then if I do things on my own, sometimes it doesn't work out, and then I run to God asking Him to pull me out of a situation that I put myself in? Of course. That's why I'm learning now that I want to live for Him and have Him direct me, and really try to be patient and wait for Him to tell me when to move, how to move, and what I should be doing. Because a lot of times when we do things on our own, a lot of times it does not always work out in our favor. That is definitely how we learn. We live and learn. That's why he he allowed us from the beginning. If you um remember reading Genesis, He gave us choices at the beginning, and choices from us to learn from. Like it started with Adam and Eve. Adam, he knew, God knew that they were going to go against Him. That's why He put the serpent in the garden. God already knew. He was trying to see if they were going to obey his instructions or not. Yes, you are absolutely right. And let me tell you, I just did a lesson on this because every morning I get up and I'm on a prayer line. And I get on a prayer line every morning at 5 a.m. Um, and it's Monday through Friday. And so I taught a lesson 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow, 2 weeks ago, I taught a lesson on disobedient disobedience. How, and I didn't realize this. Give me 1 second. Let me pull this scripture up. I had to pull it up. So it was coming from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 5 through 6. My son, do not make light of the Lord's discipline, and do not lose heart when he rebukes you, because the Lord disciplines the one he loves, and he chastises everyone he accepts as his son. So God do, and I did not realize that, because a lot of times, and I always say a lot of times we give the enemy too much credit, right? A lot of times we always think that it's Satan, it's always the devil that's doing things. But no, God also disciplines us, right? The ones he loves, he disciplines us. Like, just like you were saying. You were saying that he allows us to make a choice and to teach us a lesson. But it says it right in his word that he disciplines us in Hebrews 12, 5 through 6. So we have to understand that um anytime we go against what he's saying, that we will be disciplined. And he's not doing it to hurt us. He's doing it to teach us a lesson and um making sure that we stay in alignment with him and to be obedient. Yes, yep. You are absolutely right. And for us to be obedient with him. So that's why he does it. That's what it was from the beginning of time. From the beginning of time, from when, if Adam and Eve would not have bitten that apple, we don't know if all of us would still be here on this. Well, yeah, I don't know. But we don't know if we would be here on this earth, or if we were, still supposed to be here on this earth. I don't know that. Um, but I do know that when me too. Listen, you don't got to tell me twice. Me too. I have bumped my head. I can't tell you how many times. Bump, God kept saying, "You gonna learn. You gonna learn. You gonna learn. You gonna learn." And eventually, I learned from certain situations. You gonna learn. You definitely gonna learn. Listen, you know what? I used to have a hard time with patience. It was just recently that I started having patience. And I don't know if it's because of this position that I'm in now at my job. Like, because I remember before I got with my husband, I had so much patience. And then when I got with him and I found out I was positive, HIV positive, and I literally, all of my patients, everything like went out the door. Now recently, um, with the situation of me training, um, with the new position that I'm in, and we only had to train for 3 months. But like I said, because, I was out, I was in the hospital because of health, problems, they held that against me. And so I was so frustrated. I was so furious. I was so impatient because there was so many other people going home who came in after me and was going home. And they kept telling me, well, you have to wait until November until the occurrences fall off of your record. Then we can, reevaluate it and you will be able to go home in November. So you know what? I talked to God and I prayed to God. I said, God, listen. I said, and I'm talking to him like I'm talking to y'all. I said, God, listen, you know that this is not fair. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to find me another job. I'm going to find me a work from home job. And all I kept hearing was patience. This is all I kept hearing. But nope, what I was doing, still looking for another job, sending in my resumes, haven't gotten a call back yet, right? Literally sending in resumes, and um, a couple of jobs I did get called back on. Um, they were saying that the job was filled. I'm like, well, why are you calling me telling me the job was filled? I, that defeated the purpose. So, and they were just telling me that they, like my resume, and if anything, comes available, that they would keep me in mind. So I'm like, cool. So I'm still sending in resumes. So, like I said, on Tuesday this week, and now let me tell you, I put that out of my mind about me working from home. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait until November. So I wasn't even thinking about it at all. And this is where patience come in, and this is where faith come in, and you just having faith and knowing that things are going to change. And that's what I did. So, I'm like, God, you know what? I'm still looking for me another job, but I'm still going to be patient. So I'm looking for me another job. And then Tuesday, my manager sends me a message, and she says, um, we have a meeting at 2:30. And I'm like, I didn't see a meeting on my calendar. And so I was about to send her a message back because they know how I am. I'm always speaking up for myself. And I was about to say, what is the meeting about? If it's, listen, I can't deal with it if it's anything negative you're trying to say. Because, I go in, I do my job, and I do what I'm supposed to do, right? She was like, no. Before I was about to send her this message, um, she immediately sent me a message back and said, I promise this meeting is not negative, it's positive. I do. I don't live that far from Ann Arbor. Yep. I don't live that far from Ann Arbor. And so I actually, you know what? I was out in Chelsea because I was going to nursing school. Not I had just finished all of my prereqs to get into the nursing program, and COVID hit. I had just graduated from my CNA class at Washtenaw Community College. I had to go out to an assisted living home and do my what did I have to do? I think I had to do some hours there. I had to do some hours there at the assisted living home. I forgot the name of the assisted living because um it was in 2019. So I had just finished that, and I was about to be able to apply for the nursing program. And when I developed COVID, I decided I'm not going into nursing anymore, especially after I had almost lost my life. I had PTSD so bad after that. Um, and I'm just starting to get back to myself. And so yeah, I was literally about to get into the nursing program and everything. Um, so I decided to go into business. I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree for business. I'm literally almost done. You have to have 120 hours um, for your bachelor's, and I am at 94 hours. So I'm literally close. I'm almost there. I do not have that many classes before I finish my bachelor's degree for business. I was thinking about once I get my bachelor's, I want to get my master's in public health because I really want to focus, on um, the HIV epidemic and things like that. So even though they don't consider it epidemic because of the numbers that's rising, I consider it being an epidemic because, man, when I tell you these numbers are crazy, it's rising so bad, and it's so scary to know that it's so many people that's living with it and don't even know. Because sometimes symptoms, like I said, sometimes you can have HIV and it can be years before you have symptoms. And like with HIV, some symptoms it can make you feel like you have a cold. Some people can, you know, feel like they have a minor cold or feel like they have the flu. They get over it and they go about their business, right? Sometimes you can have early symptoms like that, but you bypass it and not even know that that's what it could be. Um, but it's like minor symptoms that you can definitely have. Some people don't even, like I said, some people don't even have symptoms at all until, a few years. And sometimes it's too late for some people. Like I was saying in one of my videos, I'm going to continue to talk about my story. I don't care who don't want to listen to it. And like I was telling them on my video, if you don't want to listen to my story, you can bypass my page. But I'm going to continue to talk about it, continue to bring awareness, continue to break the stigma, because there's a lot of stigma behind it as well. Um, I have lost a lot of friends because there were people who, you know, was afraid to be near me or to be close to me. So, at the beginning, was I hurt? Of course. This is at the beginning of something that has changed my life, and I'm thinking that you're my friends and you're not. Thinking that something life threatening that's going that I'm dealing with that I don't even know anything about. I knew of it, but I didn't know anything about it like I know now. And the thing is, like, oh, so one thing, you don't pass away from, like, people say you can pass away from HIV, you can pass away from AIDS. You cannot pass away from that. You can pass away from things that causes you. HIV and AIDS can cause you to develop certain things that have you pass away, but you can't pass away from HIV or AIDS. They have come a long way, but people, it's still a stigma. People are still going to be people. And, but, I'm okay with it. I'm definitely okay with it. I have an amazing support system. I have amazing family. Um, I have some friends, my church family. I even have you guys. I have like a good support system, on YouTube, on TikTok. I have a very good support system. And I thank all of you for always, being positive, always just being so encouraging and just, still following me. Like, I never knew that I would, you know, have over 3,000 followers on YouTube when I started doing my videos, and over 4,000 on TikTok, just telling my truth about my story. I never thought that it would even get this far, right? And like I said, I'm going to continue to tell it because it's so many people that still need awareness about it. And believe it or not, like, there are literally husbands or wives that's given it, that has contracted from each other, which is sad, because you would think that you're in a marriage, you're in this marriage um that you joined together. You made vows to not step out of your marriage, right? But here you go in this marriage, and then you contract this virus. And that's why I'm constantly talking about it, because it needs to be stopped. And like I was talking about, it's a nonprofit called Mahogany Blue, which is in Michigan. It's an amazing organization, and they really focus on PrEP. And a lot of people, I was getting backlash about me talking about PrEP, saying that you're condoning people to go out and do whatever they want to do, and for them to take this pill. The thing is, they were doing this stuff before I even started talking about it. The only thing I want to do is for people to be safe. That's the only thing. Can you just share your story for God? Glory, God got you, my dear friend. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Cassie. I truly, truly appreciate that. I truly appreciate that. Um, but yeah, like, it's it's so crazy how this stigma is still out here. And I remember I used to be afraid to even tell, my friends, when I, started having friends, and I felt that we were close enough for me to really express, my life to them. I was afraid because I'm like, I don't want to lose anybody else. But I was told, it's, you said Colleen Gooden. Oh, Colleen Gooden. Casper. Oh, Colleen, thank you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I truly apologize. Colleen. Or was it Colin? Did I say it right? Colleen or Colin Gooden? Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. Like, I truly appreciate y'all. Um, but like I say, like, when you have, you know, any type of health problem that can cause life or death, right? So there are medications now where we can live a healthy life, um, a normal healthy life, right? There are medications. Years ago, they did not have that. Technology has came a long way. Not just technology, but research has came a long way with these medications and the way that they do things, with. Yeah, I'm about to get off too, honey. I'm about to get off too. It's been 100. Oh, yeah. But we've been. Thank you so much for staying on with me. I'm about to get ready to go. It's 9 o'clock. But there are so many medications where we can live a long, healthy life. And just like, and I cannot compare like HIV to cancer. Those are two different things. Cancer, they have chemo, they have radiation, but with cancer, it is more detrimental to your health than HIV is, even though HIV the HIV cells in your body attacks your good cells, so it causes you to be immunocompromised as well. But we can definitely not put um, those two diagnoses in the same category. But what I can say is, as long as you continue to keep and that's what's gotten me so far. As long as I continue to keep the faith, I know that I am going to go very far. But like I said, we never know the day, time, or hour. But all I do is just spread my word, spread my testimony, spread his word, spread my testimony and my story. But we have been on this live for a while. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Thank you guys for staying on. It is time for me to get ready to go to bed. And Saturday will be the next time I will be on. So I pray that everybody have a good night. I do not take it lightly for you guys just staying on here. It feel like I had a billion followers on here with me. My community just listening to me, listening to my stories, and us just interacting. But thank you again. I love all of you, and I pray everybody have a blessed